A very warm greeting to all of you. We have with us today Namita Bal. Namita is currently a professional tennis coach and the captain of the junior Indian tennis teams. She played the pro circuit till 2015. Coaching amplifies peace for Namita, and she uses this role to help people find their own peace and light. I'm very grateful that Namita has taken time to be here with us today and share her journey and wisdom. Welcome, Namita. Thank you so much for taking the time in the midst of your tournaments for us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So tell me, Namita, let's start with where you transitioned from being a pro tennis player to being a coach and, moving from the then known to possibly unknown, but only to find out that you loved it so much and it was so amazing. So can you take us a little bit through that journey just so that if there's someone in our audience right now who is moving from the known to unknown, maybe they can also keep an open body, mind, and heart to new experiences. So tell us a little bit about it.
So it was definitely a very tumultuous experience at the time because, like you said, it was going from known to the unknown. And it was really unknown because I never really had a plan B. Tennis is all I knew, and was all I wanted to do also. Um, I didn't want to go from being a pro player to even coaching because I didn't feel I could watch somebody play and sit on the sidelines and be okay with that. But so when I initially started, it was mostly fitness and just hitting with players. And the corrections that I made came very naturally because I feel I had good observation skills and I was very empathetic, which I think is very important for coaching. And it turns out that I was a natural at it and it made me happy. It really did make me happy. And I found my peace with it when I accepted that I don't know what's best for me. And I don't know, and that's okay. All along I had this idea that I will only be a pro player and this is what makes me happiest. And suddenly finding myself in this new area where through acceptance, I am actually happier was a very, very peaceful experience, and also one that taught me, or rather reinstilled in me, my faith that everything does happen for the best, whether we know it or not.
Wow. So talking about everything happening for the best and really being okay with uncertainties, one of the things I observe is that we're taught to have a schedule, we're taught to have plans. You meet a child in their fifth standard and you're like, 10th ke baad kya karoge? That's sort of a very futuristic view on life. And sometimes, like you very beautifully mentioned, we don't know. And how has being okay with uncertainties, which is a given in life, empowered you? Because that's one of the, it's at the core of feeling empowered with life and not feeling helpless. So can you tell us about strengthening your relationship with uncertainties?
It's definitely been a journey and I'm not all there yet. It continues. But what I've found is that just accepting that uncertainty immediately brings you back to the present, because you're not thinking about what might happen, what could happen, what has happened, what if something happens like what has happened, what if it's something completely new. It just, that switches off and it brings you back to the present. And there's a lot of trust and surrender and a lot of work that goes into that trust and surrender, into just knowing that it will be okay. Whatever it is will be okay, and whatever it has been so far, you have handled and you have had the strength to handle. So whatever comes, you will also have the strength to handle. And that is the most empowering feeling in the world, that whatever happens, whether good, bad, as you see it, whatever it is, you can handle it and you will be fine at the end of the day. And that's the most empowering feeling for me.
Wow, wow. So tell us about, as a coach, bringing that vibe and that energy and a shift of perspective to the ones you coach, both about life and tennis and being a champion at both.
Yeah. So I've always maintained that, especially since I met you, that I am not just coaching players to be players. I'm coaching them to find their peace, to find their light, and to find their own happiness. And that tennis will only add to that, like coaching did for me, like tennis does to me. Um, it's and what they do on court is simply um, it's just one of the many manifestations of what is happening in the rest of their lives and what is happening within them. So whether it is how they deal with pressure, whether it is um, how they react to certain stimulus, how they react to what the opponent is doing or not react to what the opponent is doing, all of that is just a manifestation of what they're already doing off court. So a lot of the training is about simply about themselves and not even about tennis, just finding that that sense of worth in their own selves, their own peace, their own happiness, which helps them on court and off court, because it's the same pattern, whether it's an exam, whether it's a job, whether it's a match. It's the same pattern, it's the same pressure that they feel, it's the same fear, whether it's fear of failure, fear of how they are perceived. It's the same fear everywhere. So once they work on that fear and that self validation and worth, um, things sort of fall into place even on court. And I've realized that whatever I learn from you is simply so that I can pass on to them, so that I can pass it on to them. That's one thing that's very, very clear to me at the moment.
Thank you for helping anchor and radiate that light and love and peace. Can you share one of your biggest aha moments since we've met about life, about, this journey?
Oh, there have been so many. One thing I know that that's always stayed with me, that you keep saying, keep doing what's working for you. And through the initial times, that's what got me through, like regardless of how I was feeling and however panicky I got, I knew some of the tools that helped me ground myself, and I knew what worked for me at the moment, at the time, and I stuck to that. And I was able to, like I said, like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, whatever happens, I will be fine. So that I think has been one of the biggest things that, and that's what I tell my players as well. Because at the end of the day, that is the fear. If I lose, it's not really the losing that pinches them. It's how will I feel when I lose? I'm not going to feel great about myself. People are not, I'm going to be worried about what people think about me losing. And losing is failure for them. So just changing that perspective to losing is learning. And regardless of whether I win or lose, I will be okay because I have been so far. That has been my biggest aha moment. And it continues to be what I teach to my players, to just help not get rid of the fear, but just to accept the fear. That it's there, that pressure will be there, that fear will be there, but I will be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. And the reality of life is that our fears keep changing and transforming. At every stage, there's a different kind of fear. So it's not that we become fearless, but we know how to handle these fears, right? And doubts that come up. So that's really powerful. Namita, you shared that some of the tools really worked for you. Of the ones that we have shared, can you tell us one that is your go-to favorite tool to find?
I have two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Go.
So the first is an affirmation, and that is that I am safe and warm and loved. and I give myself a hug as I say it, and I feel it, like you say, in every cell of my body as I say it. I genuinely feel it. So that is one, and I genuinely do feel very safe when I do that and loved. The other is chanting. So whether it is the Guru Mantra or the Hanuman Chalisa, it's my go-to every time I'm feeling a little um, on edge or panicky or fearful. It makes me feel stronger. So that, and also when I'm having negative thoughts, it just helps to um, transmute that into something a lot more powerful, productive, constructive. So chanting really helps me also.
Wow. Wow. So it certainly a mantra helps us shift the vibrations from one frequency to a different one. So I love the way you use the word transmute over there, which is so apt and accurate. And since we are at a summit that talks about choosing peace, can you share with us right now how, in challenging moments, you had a choice to either choose peace or not peace, and you took that decision? How can you maybe illustrate one or two instances when that happened, and how has choosing peace helped and transformed your life?
Yeah. So the instances that come to mind right away are relationships to me, because that has always been an area where I have reacted and not responded. So by putting in the work these past 2-3 years with you, I feel I've got to a place where I'm able to, like you said, in that moment, choose peace. So whether it is an argument with my parents where, both of us are trying to, all of us are trying to put our point across and not listen to the other. I think the first step is just acceptance, whether it's acceptance that um, the other person is not going to change their viewpoint, or the acceptance that they may be right, you know, either way. Um, just accepting, I found that with my parents, just accepting what they are saying as something useful for me, because they are coming from a place of love and concern, even if I don't see it in the moment. Um, that I think is the most peaceful thing I can do for my family.
Wonderful.
Accepting what they say. In other relationships as well, I know that people are not out, people close to me are not out to hurt me. So if something has happened and I have been upset by it, instead of a direct accusation or, or you did this to me sort of conversation, just taking the time to understand and to realize that this person is not out to hurt me, and they have their reasons for doing what they do, and I have my reasons for feeling the way I feel, and I can choose to be peaceful in the situation. I can choose to be understanding and loving, and we can sort this out without drama. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that bit about, recognizing that the drama that we create in our own heads. And one of
Yes.
the things for me personally also has been to catch myself, because I've seen so much of it growing up, and that's how, we see movies and we see all of that, and there's so much drama. So
Yes.
once we begin this journey, even before we can call out someone else, we really honestly need to call out our own drama and stop it right there. So thank you for bringing that point up, which is so important in our journey, our endeavor towards living a peaceful life. Any last insights that you may like to share?
Just in terms of this last bit of conversation we had, in all honesty, it has been my own drama. So, um, in terms of peace, uh, cutting out that drama has been through finding my peace. And the more I find my peace, the easier it is to cut out that drama. And the more peace you find within yourself, the more peace you're able to spread, the more loving you're able to be. And it just carries. You just need one person to be that. You were that person for me, and I know that I'm trying to be that person for so many other people in my lives, like my players, my family, my friends. To help them find that peace, to help them find that just that joy that comes without reason, because we're all one at the end of the day. And if you aren't at peace, you're not going to be able to share it, and people will sense it. However their way of sensing it is, they will sense your peace or lack of it. So just being that way, the best thing you can do is work on yourself, and everything else falls into place, and people around you um, begin to become peaceful towards you as well.
Absolutely. And one of the quotes that we shared, in the posts was that it's a Yogananda quote that Paramhansa Yogananda says that when you change yourself, you do your part in changing the world. And I think it's such a powerful one because it has that ripple effect. And we don't necessarily have to actively go out and do things, but just, anchoring and radiating is so powerful. And on that note, thank you so much for anchoring and radiating love, joy, peace, and continuing to work on yourself as we all do, and we're together on this journey. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, love. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for everything.